So in order to record, or actually not record, but to do that, all you need to do really is to make sure that your images are pre selected in terms of the sizes before you upload. So the photo box
Yeah.
that you saw earlier, it doesn't matter as long as you have predetermined the size because we don't do any
Right, but
editing.
what I'm asking is within your survey template, is it the same size photo box regardless of what survey you're doing within your template?
Yes, it would be.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would be the same size. So other things
Okay.
you can see here that, if you need to delete, you can delete here. If you want to set it as a banner, which, will be on each page, you can do that there. So that would be really good for logos. To add footers, all you need to do is go back in here, copy
Okay.
and paste it, and
Andy.
add it to footers. So, so it's pretty simple.
Okay, so all the formatting of the pictures has to occur before you upload it, basically, because there's no photo editing capability once you're in the survey software.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
So we can't even resize the photos.
You have to
Doesn't
resize
sound
them
like it.
before you upload it.
And we can't even make them smaller in the tool.
No,
Yeah,
you can't do
No.
this. Making
It is what it is.
making them
Yeah.
smaller, you can't do that.
Okay.
Basically, you have a library.
Everybody's good on pictures? Okay, Esther, could you show us some dashboard reporting capabilities, like your speedometer gauges or graphs, or what are the various ways that you can report respondent data?
okay, sure. Let's go ahead and jump right into reporting capabilities. And here, the very first thing you'll see is just a really quick overview chart of who's completed the survey and everything. Everything is reported in real time, so you'll find out as soon as you send out a survey and people start taking your survey, like within an hour or even sooner, even 5 minutes or so, you can check and see what's going on. And this is, automatically reports the overall, and
Yeah.
under reports, you can see that we have the real-time summary. And so we automatically calculate um, everything here. So we're looking at, number of times it's been viewed, started, what's your completion rates, what's your drop downs, and how long it's on average it is going to take to complete a survey. So again, this is just a really quick overview of the overall data and how people fall out. So we calculate automatically mean, confidence interval, standard deviation for all the different question types. We've got tons of different ones in here. You can also go in and look at individual participant statistics. So if you want to, look at very particular people and you want to look at either like those who started it or completed it, you can just click on this here. There's two ways you can do it. You can either click on a response ID, which we automatically give to everybody who's, we assign that automatically, and then you can just pull it up individually and look at this. This is a pretty important tool. A lot of my clients use it for validation, so they can go in and review what people are saying. Or if you want to change this system headers and just have all the question and answers below, you can just review this. And this is just for when you want to look at it online. And then we have a way that you can see that below here. So if you scroll over to the right, you'll see these are all the different questions we have, and then these are all the answers people have put below. And then,
This is sort of like the raw data.
Yeah.
yeah, this is the raw data essentially. So this is just one way to look at it if you don't care to download, you just want to look at it really quickly. We also have
Mm-hmm.
open-ended text report if you just want to review some open-ended really quickly. And then of course, right here is probably where you're going to spend a lot of your time downloading and your data or exporting your data. So you can do raw data export in a Excel or CSV. You can choose how you want your data to be downloaded. So if you want to do it
That helps.
raw data, open-ended text, You can choose various options of whether or not you want the overall analytics and calculations. You want to display the answer values or the codes instead of the question text, which most people prefer the text or else they won't remember what codes go with what. And then you can filter it even further according to the time, as well as below, which is the whether or not you just want to download just the completed, and then you can just download it. Other downloads you can also do here is you can also do charts and analytics export in either PowerPoint, Word, or Excel, and you can.
Can you show me Can you show examples of that?
Yeah, we have an example of that available, and so we have that in our bucket, I believe.
Sure, what that looks like.
So here's an example of a PowerPoint presentation that we have downloaded, and it's just very simple, but you can go in and you can edit the charts and you can go in and edit the words and stuff. So these are just the question type that we pulled from, so you can make changes as you go along.
Is the data embedded in those charts?
It will be embedded as a picture, so you won't be able to
Okay,
make any changes.
I'm not saying I want to change it. I just want to. Okay.
Well, I guess it would have to be to there have to be a certain amount of data in there to get the pictures to do.
No, it comes out as a picture.
Yeah, it comes out as a picture. It's a picture directly from the software.
Yeah, so you can make changes to how you want this to look like.
It's a pic, okay.
Yeah, it's not Excel generated. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Still
so,
cool, I mean.
Yeah, it's still very workable. I mean, and it's obviously, you know, if you need something a little bit more detail oriented, I mean, you would have to generate your own graphs. But, you know, this is really good to use, you know, while, you know, if you're doing a project that takes a while and you just need something to throw together really quickly for a presentation to kind of show you, you know, where you guys at with certain projects. We can definitely help you. This tool is great for that. So you just kind of, you know, go in, you know, download a copy of your data and just say, okay, here this is. You can present it really quickly, and it'll be very impressive, so you don't have to spend a lot of time making PowerPoints, because that's not fun for anybody. So yeah, we have templates you can select. You can also include your open-ended data text in the PowerPoint too. Again, if you want to go in and select time, response data, if you just want to do a PowerPoint based off the completed surveys, you can. And then also you can do an SPSS download if you are using SPSS for statistical calculations, and then you can download it as well. Other things you can do is you can also do you can use some of our online tools. We have cross tabs of questions that you can put together. You can also create a banner or a pivot table of some questions and look at various segments across particular questions that you have in your survey. You'll also be able to do some custom reporting. And then if you
now, Esther, just interrupt you for a second. So for those seem to be some pretty powerful tools. Are there like offline, like just or videos that kind of can train you as to what the capabilities are on that? I'm just curious.
Yes, absolutely. And we can help. We can provide you with all the help files to help you get you started. And then of course we can always go into further training. So we can do another overview similar to this. Here we're not here to train you today, but we're just kind of showing you what you have. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys, I think you guys would really like, is if you guys want to do some serious drill down and you want to just segment out your data, like say for instance I have here I want to look at people with a Visa credit card. I want to know how they answered the survey. And so you can just target people based off of either you can base off of the responses in your survey, or if you're using an email list of respondents, you can pull it from your system variables, or if you just want to look at it based off of the time that they've taken the survey, you can just type in what you'd like, and then you can pull where you want to have this. So I've got some examples. This is just, pulling from, questions in your survey. The example I pulled was from a question about what credit card you have, and this is for Visa. And what I can do is I can also just look at the summary report based off of those who have a Visa card. So this will be really helpful if you just want to do some serious drill down. And not only that, but you can also go in and download charts and also Excel spreadsheets and everything based off of just this particular segment. So you don't have to download and then go in and sort your data accordingly. You can actually do a lot of it within here. So if you need to do an Excel download and also add a time filter on top of it, you can. Other things you can also do is you can also compare two together. So if you want to compare two data segment groups like men versus women, or in this case Visa versus MasterCard, you can also just run a quick online comparison report. So this is really neat. So you can see how people answer, Visa versus MasterCard, how they answer the rest of the survey. So it's very compelling stuff.
So, yeah, that's pretty neat. Just two things out of the words on the list. I want to see how you send out the survey, the available options to send out the survey, and then I'd like to see the conjoint capabilities as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So conjoint and all that'll probably be last. But yeah, let's see how you actually send out the survey and set that up. How does that work?
Okay, great. So let's go ahead and click on Send Survey here. And basically, we've got different things you can, there's obviously the link here. We have email. You can do website intercept or pop-up surveys. You can post on Twitter and Facebook. And then you can also manage the invitations. How do you guys send out surveys right now?
We will build it in a survey software, and then we will email it out of our CRM software, which is Salesforce.com.
Okay. And so you can do that. You can actually automate a lot of that in here. So we do have a survey invitation that you can, set up here. And you can customize this and then change the subject line, customize that, and then also if you want to include, their first name, last name, and do similar like a mail merge, you can add their first name. If you have that info, you can save that.
Yeah. Can I just get a link?
So this one, yeah. And then,
can you just? I guess you can just do away with the introduction, and you can just insert the link there, right? If you wanted to.
Yeah, you can. So if let's look at a preview. The link is always inserted automatically. You can actually go in and instead of you can actually click on mail setting and change who it's from. So instead of saying it's from you or the administrator, you can actually say it's from someone else. You can change the link text to say instead of start survey, you say click here to begin.
I'm sorry. We use Engage B2B software, and it ties everything back to Salesforce.com. So my guess is more than likely we would send these surveys out via Engage B2B.
Okay.
So I think maybe what Matt is asking is once we create the survey, instead of mailing it out through this site, could we just pick up that link and attach it in an Engage B2B that we would send out? Because the great thing, we made an investment on that, and it ties back, and so it gives visibility to the rest of our organization that uses Salesforce.
Yeah, you can do that. It is important if you want to track the variables. We actually are integrated with Salesforce already. So if you guys want, I'm just showing this to you guys here. So if you have a Salesforce account, you can just type in your Salesforce account password, verify connection, and what you can do is you can start mapping the their answers from the survey to their information. So you can actually you start
Is there any additional licensing? Is there any additional licensing? I'm sorry, I can't say that word very well right now. Are there any additional fees that we would have to have in order to have that capability,
No,
or
it's
is that just
included.
part of what you offer?
It's included. Yeah, so we have that. We have plenty of help files to show you how you can object map everything back to Salesforce, so that won't be a problem.
Okay, that's perfect.
So anytime, but oh, go ahead.
It is. Okay.
No, okay. So I could take that link there. Where, I mean, worst case. So it sounds like there's a lot of other functionality. So I could take that link there and paste it anywhere I really needed to paste it, and then people would be able to take the survey. Agreed that you would lose some of the analytics of how long, how many people I sent it out to versus responded, that sort of thing. But you could do that from that link there, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Got it.
Do you guys have other questions about that?
Okay. No, that's it. So let's go on to the.
Well, I got a question.
Okay.
If we were to use this portal here, how do we get the email list?
You upload it.
Yes, you can upload it right here. So you can just set up an email list here, and then you can give it a name, specify if it's global or just survey specific. And once you have a list here, I just have one email. You can actually open it up and add more to it if you like. And then we also track custom variables. So if you need to, add names, that kind of stuff, you can do up to 255 variables, and it's the same. You can upload from pretty much anywhere. It has to be in CSV file, and then you can upload it. And then you can always go in and edit. Once you have something uploaded, you can check to see who's the active emails. I have Gretchen's in there right now. And then you can also notify, who's unsubscribed. So if you keep using the same email, anyone who's unsubscribed, they won't get an email. We'll also track, anyone who is pending verification, bounce or duplicates. You can even go in and do a search for particular people if they want to be taken out of a survey or out of a list. You can just type in their email and then do a search. You'll find them, and you can just delete them from the list.
Okay.
So any other questions about our survey sending options?
No, let's move on to conjoint. How do you set that up, and what is that?
What's the output look like is what I'm...
Okay. So I do have an example of conjoint and maxdiff. I kind of just, jammed it all together for this purpose here. So this first one here is a maxdiff, of the following attributes on a Seattle tour. Which attributes do you like the most, and which one do you like least? And we can just take this really quickly. But before we do that, I'll just show you what it looks like to add this. It's actually very simple. You just add your question text, and then you have your attributes, one per line. And then, of course, after you add your maxdiff question, you want to add, click on settings, and then you can go in and validate, randomize your answer options. You can also set your attribute settings. So if you don't want all 5 of them to show, you can, make it 3 out of 5, 2, or 4, so you can change that. And then to do a quick preview of what this looks like, this is what it will look like to your respondent. So they can choose, they like the Space Needle the most, and, the Seattle waterfront the least. And then just continue. And then below that, we have our conjoint. This is what it looks like, but it doesn't look like that to respondent. But I'll open up the template. So we add the instructions above. We basically, it's just a Seattle tour. And then you add your features. It's usually 1 per line. And once the features are added, the levels will show up below. And for levels, you want to have at least 2 or more. And then below that, you will set your task count. So right now, for the purposes of a demo, we just kept it really easy. So 3 task counts equals it's going to cycle through 3 times. And then the concepts per task is the number of profiles that they'll see of this particular question. So once again, I'm just going to do a preview of the entire thing. So we'll go through it all together here. And then here's the conjoint. So it will tell them, step 1 of 3. So you can select which one you would prefer. Actually, I'd prefer that first. And then you're done there. And once obviously they have all their data, we can just go to the reporting side. The raw data is in the reports export like I showed you earlier, but with the analytics side, you can go into just the max diff question alone here. So let me just pull that up. And what we do is we calculate the share preference. And then we also will show you a preference analysis. So the preference analysis obviously is calculated all together to create this thing, and this will point out, which particular feature they'll obviously choose the most, or choose the most, choose least. And then of course you can download this as well into an Excel report. Do you guys do a lot of max diff right now?
We have done quite a few in the past.
Okay. So yes, we use a logic regression analysis to calculate out this chart up top. So these are basically the calculations or percentages are based on the raw data that we've calculated in terms of the number of times these particular things have been selected, throughout the time that we've taken the survey. So that is the max diff. And then of course, if you always want to check it, as a lot of people do, they can always go to the reports, download the raw data from there, and look at the max diff and count it up. It's actually the same if once you've checked it. So we've automated that, made it really easy for you to run a max diff. And these percentages are pretty powerful. You can definitely say, especially from here, there's a 1% difference. You can actually write a report and say there's a 1% difference between the preference for a water taxi to the waterfront tour, if you would like, just because with max diff you can say that kind of stuff versus doing it in a rating kind of question. Let's go to conjoint.
And all this. Well, 1 second. And all this is reportable, and you can take it and put it in PowerPoint and everything like that, right?
I believe with this you might. I have to check to see. The export, I know that it's mainly the calculations. Although you could take some screenshots of this and use it in a presentation. That's what I've done with a lot of my clients. So here's the conjoint example. So again, we made it very simple. We're only looking at 3 features. So obviously the time of day actually makes a big difference. We just say which one particularly actually makes the most difference in a conjoint tool. And what we've done is we've calculated the relative importance for you and also the average utility for each of the levels. And obviously in the average utility, the higher the number, the more preferred it is. So with that, we were able to put together the best and worst profile that you can see below. So right now, the best profile we have is 2 to 4 hours, noontime Seattle Scenic Tour. Worst profile we have is an afternoon coffee tour. So, you can calculate and see what you like from here. The second thing that you can do from this, which is pretty interesting thing, pretty powerful and fun to do actually, is to open up our market segmentation simulator. And what this does, it allows you to take the existing features and levels that you've used in the conjoint, and you can test out, what if I want a tour, 1 to 2 hours, so and so, but I want to use this tour type. How can you change that? So I've put together an example. You can have up to 10 profiles and run it at one time. But right now, I just have 2, so I'm looking at 1 to 2 hours, an afternoon tour. I'm trying to decipher, should I run a chocolate tour or wine tour? I don't know. So we'll run a simulation. And these are based off of the data that we have currently. So you'll see that, if you were to only have these 2 choices available from your tour company, out of the 13 people who've answered this survey, 9 would go with profile number 1, and then of course 4 would go to profile number 2. So you'll see that there's a greater demand for a chocolate tour. And so you can play around with this, and you can download an Excel report of this as well and review at any time. Do you guys do a lot of conjoint analysis right now?
We've recently done 2 or 3. We've done some over in Europe, and then we're looking at doing one over in Australia at this point.
Okay. And what do you think about this tool?
What's that?
What do you think about it so far?
It's good. I mean, we're working with an outside consultant on it now, and it's really helped us narrow down some key product features which we need. I mean, if we're having to make some investment decisions, which particular product features that we want to invest in to try to enhance. So it's really allowed us the capability to determine where to invest in product development or service enhancements within the organization.
Yeah, that's really good. And so usually, with conjoint analysis, especially when you're, starting out, it's always good to figure out. The hardest thing is getting started, really. Figuring out what your features are and what levels you want to have your features. I mean, you can spend months and months on end just to figure that out, right?
Yeah, we've spent 5 or 6 months debating those as well. So yeah, the shorter the list, the more accurate your results will be, is what we found. So.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, you guys are like light years ahead of most people that come through wanting to do conjoint. So, after you figure that out, actually plugging in and using our tool is very, very easy. So we, yeah.
Okay. Esther, we're ready to talk about the price, licenses, and how does that come out?
Okay, I'll let Gretchen take this.
I can step in here.
Okay.
So you had mentioned 25 users. Is that what you guys think you're going to have, about 25 people wanting to log in and access these surveys and use them and send them out?
No, we're probably going to look at doing, I don't know what your standard packages are as far as licensing users, but I am thinking probably 5, and that's 1 per geographic region, the way we break up our territories, yeah. So Derek, what I was thinking is enterprise, 1 for APAC, 1 for Europe, 1 for here. If we do Latin America, probably 2 here, 1 Latin America, and then 1 Europe and APAC. Okay.
Okay,
then,
so you're looking at about 5 users?
Yes.
Okay. And then now, in terms of, we didn't look at the dashboard accounts. Dashboard accounts are something that allows other people to view reports and change reports and not change the survey at all. Are you interested in any of those?
Not really, because a lot of these reports we will be taking up to executive management level, and I don't want to leave the interpretation of the data to them to look at a dashboard.
Okay, all right, that's understandable. Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll write up a proposal, and then I'll send it to you, Matt, within the hour.
Okay,
Does that work?
that works.
Any other questions at all?
No, just within that proposal, if you could add, like if we wanted to add more users, add what the addition would be. If there's a price break, if we reach a certain number, the same thing. If we decided to add the dashboard feature, in addition to this, we would probably require or need some level of training for the other users and geographic regions that we have. So I'd like to understand, if there is a charge for that, and what it is, what is the scope, and what is the charge, and then, of course, with every product, just like ours, I mean, there's a certain amount of support that comes along with the product, but then I'm sure you offer different support packages. I'd like to understand what those capabilities are.
Okay, I can do that. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, sorry, one more question. With regards to pricing, I'm not sure if there is a per month, per year, 2-year extent, contract, but there's different pricing options based off the the length of the contract. That I'd like to understand that as well.
Okay, yeah, it's an annual contract. So, and for the survey, it's unlimited surveys, unlimited responses, but I'll put all that information in the proposal.
Okay, a quick question I didn't ask, and this is maybe a technical question. Once the survey is complete, how long, we close out a survey, how long is the data stored on your system?
It's stored
So it's
forever.
always stored, and unless you actually physically go in there and delete it just because it's been there so long and you don't want that information, it'll always be there.
Okay.
Is there any recovery? Say something gets accidentally deleted.
Is there a recovery?
Actually, what would happen?
Yeah, delete recovery. Like, say for example, somebody accidentally deleted the wrong survey data. Can they call up and get the backup to restore it?
Unfortunately, once you've deleted it, it's
Esther?
pretty much gone. Oops. Once you've deleted it,
I
it's
believe you
pretty much
can.
gone.
Are you there, Esther?
No, you can't. Actually.
Oh, you can't? Okay.
Yeah, once you've deleted it, it's over. but the good thing is that we do have, if you can see my screen still, under reports here, we have data management where you can search, you can delete your surveys, you can also review and see everything that you've ever downloaded, because this is everything I've ever downloaded in this particular account. So we save all of that, and we don't delete anything unless you physically go in and delete. And we always ask you, are you sure you want to do this? And of course,
Okay.
it will tell you, if
The
you
deletion
delete it,
is
it's
permanent.
yeah. So the deletion is permanent.
Okay.
But is there a lot? Does each user have their own login and password,
Yes.
or is
So
it?
for the 5 users that you want, they'll all have their own login and password.
So could one user delete another user's survey?
Esther, you want to talk about that?
Yes. So that depends. You wouldn't as the main administrator. As a main administrator, what you can do is you can control what each person can and can't access. So you'll be able to have you'll be able to say, oh, you can only access this folder, or if your Asia accounts can only access the Asia account surveys, you can specify that in particular.
Esther, what language capabilities do we have here? Do we have German, Cantonese,
Can you put it in and translate it?
We've got two ways that you can do that, actually. So if you how are you guys doing that right now? Are you self-translating it, or are you using a contractor? Okay. So you can do both. So in our system, if you want to translate this on your own, we have it under our display options where you can go down and add any of the language. I believe we have 37 different languages that you can use, including German, French. We even have Bulgarian if you need that. And you can just add the languages as they go. Once you've included a language, you can go in and configure each of those if you need. And then if you want to have someone translate it, we do have a automated translation service that we use. Under our integration tab, you can specify what language you want. So if you want to add Spanish, you could, the survey tool will automatically, we can import your questions and then get a quote. So it would be
quote for translation, huh?
yeah, so we automatically, so in terms of additional costs, if you need to do those individually, it would be additional cost and it would be charged to your account.
Yeah.
But if you if you do it on your own, you know, it doesn't cost you anything. You can go in and also configure all the buttons. You can go in and change everything. You can do it all on your own. But, you know, if you're, you know, short of time and you need someone else to do it, our translation service can do it in 2 business days, import it back into the system. It's already been automated, so you don't have to worry about, you know, mapping, you know, your Spanish questions over and over. We already automatically did a lot of it for you.
Esther, is there within this, before you publish it, is there like a review routing process that you can send it to different people?
Yes.
Or is it only, does that make sense?
Yeah, so if you want to, do you want to do like a preview before you send out?
Well, definitely that, but I think I just answered my question that you would have to have the software to be able to do it, or the access.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what about doing a test of survey?
Yeah, you can always do a
small,
test.
Limited.
That's a good question.
You could write it to a few people internally, you know.
Yeah.
We could also
Internal test.
You can send the link out. You can send it via email. You can do it exactly the way that you would send it out to normally, but and you can have, you know, all your internal employees do the survey, see how it responds, and test it that way before you actually send it out.
Okay, that's good.
You just need to make sure to delete the data from that before you want all clear data before you send it out real time.
Okay, Esther and Gretchen, thank you. This has been very informative.
All right, Matt, I will send you that proposal, and then I'll follow up with a call.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.